Well, welcome once again to this edition of the Golden Rule. I am so excited. I'm about to pop, but I hope you'll join in the excitement as I share with you. I want to start by reading you a couple of verses out of the book of Habakkuk. God had just spoken to this prophet what he wanted him to do. And now the Lord said to him, "Write the vision, make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." So, that's the thing. Write the vision on the wall. Hebrews 10:36 says that we have need of patience, that after we've done the will of God, we might receive the promise. You know, sometimes there's a delay between God's promise and God's provision. You think of Abraham and Sarah. He told Abraham when he was 75 years old that his wife Sarah at age 65 was going to have a baby. And they're kind of incredulous, but they said, "Oh, yay." And 25 years later, she had the baby. That's a long time to wait for a promise to be fulfilled. And so I'm thinking of a man named Bill Bright. Some of you may know him from Campus Crusade for Christ. He's the one who wrote the 4 Spiritual Laws. As a man in his 20s, he had a vision to produce a movie based on the life of Jesus. 30 years later, the movie was produced. And during that waiting period, of course, there's a preparation. God is always preparing us for what he has ahead. And so at the end of the 30 years, when he finally was able to start getting the wheels rolling, two brothers said, we'll foot the bill for this thing. $3 million at that time. This was 50 years ago. $3 million was worth a whole lot more than it is now. And then a Jewish film director came to him unsolicited and said, "I've always wanted to do a movie based on the Bible. Can I produce your movie?" Free. Didn't charge him anything. So when we do things God's way, you know, rather than doing something for God and then asking God to bless it, it's a whole lot better to ask God, what is your vision? What do you want to do with my life? Because God has a plan for every one of our lives. Believe it or not, you may not think about that. You may think you're a nobody. God uses nobodies. The Bible is full of nobodies that God used. And whether you're a believer or not, God prepares people in their unbelieving state for what he has for them in the future. I can speak for myself because as an 8th grader, I was involved in the Paper Mill Playhouse in Short Hills, New Jersey, a 30-day off-Broadway production that ran for 6 days a week, including 2 matinees. So there was 8 performances a week, 32 of them during the month. And it was an experience of a lifetime. It so impacted me that I've had this thing about theater ever since. I love it. I love to go to plays, and I love to be involved in plays. So it's probably been about 40 years ago that I was given a book. And there's another thing. You think these things are random. You know, you hand somebody something, you say, "Here, you might be interested in that." And all of a sudden, it plants a seed in their lives. Well, the book is entitled In His Steps. And I didn't realize it at the time I was reading it, but that book was the 2nd most popular Christian fiction book ever written. It has to this point sold over 50 million copies. It's been translated into 40 languages, and it's the book from which the expression WWJD, oh, I don't have my bracelet on. WWJD comes from. What would Jesus do? Anyway, I read the book, and like everybody else who read it, I thought, man, that's really good. And I stuck it on the shelf. Didn't even think about it until in 2019, I found it. You know how you find something on your shelf and you say, "Hey, I remember reading that. I think I'll read it again." So I did. I read it a second time. And this time, it put a vision in me to to present this to the community as a play. And so I got out a pad and I started writing a play script based on my experience as a 12-year-old at the Paper Mill Playhouse. I knew what scripts were all about. And so I started to write a play. I got 6 pages into it. And I asked myself, am I reinventing the wheel? So I called the publisher and they said, we already have a script for that play. In fact, it's the only one we're authorizing. So in 2019, January 2019, I ordered a case of script books, 25 of them. And they've sat in my closet for 4 years, going on 5, just waiting for the time. Like Bill Bright had to wait 30 years. Well, my time has come now, and God has released me to actually produce this thing. So about a year ago now, in February, I started taking the steps. I said, Lord, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? Who do I contact? What are all the things that need to be considered? And the thing is, when you're doing God's thing, God's way, He provides. He makes all kinds of provision. I could go on telling you. Cast members, props, venues, publicity, all of it. It's just amazing. Oh, I didn't bring my book with me, but on the back of the book, there was a review written by the Topeka, Kansas Capital Journal, and the reviewer said, if you attend this play, you're going to get more than you bargained for. It's good entertainment, very good entertainment, but beyond that, it could change your life or the life of your community. And that's what I'm expecting to happen here in Detroit Lakes. We have the Holmes Theater as a venue for this event, and it'll happen on April 5th at 7 p.m. and April 6th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, a matinee. So we'll have 2 performances. The capacity of the theater is 750 people. So we have the potential of reaching, what's 750 plus 750? Let's see, carry the 12. 1,500 people could see this play. And I can just envision busloads coming from Alexandria, coming from Wadena, coming from Fargo, coming from Thief River Falls, or van loads, or church loads, or people with Bible study groups, just making a day out of it, coming, having a meal here in Detroit Lakes, and then coming to the play and enjoying it. So we're mentioning this to you because I'm asking you to help me recruit. You know, Bill Bright's vision was one man. It started with just one man, as did every other ministry in the nation. Starts with one person. God gives one person a vision, and then He allows it to increase. And so I'm the guy, I'm the focal point on this particular event. And it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. It's just I don't know exactly how to do it or how to contact the significant people. But God just brings them into my life. And so right now, you are part of my significant people. I'm asking you to help me promote this. Mention it to folks, talk it up, get your own group, and you can be part. You know, people say, what can I do for God? I'm no preacher, I'm no this, I'm no that. Can you invite somebody to a play? Because this play could change people's lives. And so they'll come thinking they're going to see a play, and they are. But it's more than a play. It's a life-changing experience. And we're having cast members' lives being changed just in the process of playing a role in the play. So I'm asking you to help me promote In His Steps, April 5, it's a Friday at 7 p.m., and April 6th. And what we're also going to do at the play, we're going to have available the yard signs, the Jesus Loves You or God Bless You yard signs. They're going to be there for sale, and actually for a donation. And we're hoping to see these signs pop up all over the city, all over the county, all over northwestern Minnesota. You say, what can I do for God? Post a sign in your yard. You know, some people say, oh, I can't do that. Then I'd have to mow around it. Oh, suffering for Jesus. You can't put a sign in your yard because it would be such an inconvenience. You'd have to trim around it or pull it up every time. You understand what I'm saying? We have all kinds of excuses for why we won't do some simple little thing that God's asking us to do. He's asking you right now through this TV program, will you help promote the play? I just have to tell you about one of our actors. This young man, he wanted to be mentored. He wanted to grow in God. And so I said, are you serious? He said, yeah, I'm serious. I said, all right, I challenge you to meet with me 1 hour a day for 31 days, nonstop. Don't miss a day for 1 hour. And we're going to go through the book of Proverbs. Well, he did it. He was faithful. And so that was, maybe 5-6 years ago. But he still remembers that experience. And so we had a relationship develop between us as a result of that. And so he knows what I've been involved in with the yard signs or the Bible reading marathon and all this kind of stuff. And he's seen that I only try and do something that God has directed me to do, which is the way it is with this play. This isn't me putting on a play. This is God using me to put on a play. So anyway, I told this gentleman, I'm not going to tell you his name, but I told him, I said, hey, you want to be in my play? He says, sure. So I handed him a script book, and it would be like handing somebody who's never played the piano a Mozart concerto sheet music and say, here, play it. This guy not only has never been in a play, he's never even seen a play. He doesn't have a clue what a play even looks like. And I hand him a script book, and it's got all kinds of unintelligible to him instructions on how do you move on the platform, how do you move from here to there. But you know what? He took he was so committed to doing it well that he actually found himself a stage director, a woman who puts on plays. In fact, she owns 2 theaters. And so she's coaching him one-on-one on how to do this. And the difference between the first day when he read that script book with me, he couldn't make heads or tails out of it. Now he lives the part and he's doing an absolutely awesome job. God can use anybody. You know, it's not about how good you are. It's not about your ability. It's your availability. How good are you at plunking a yard sign in your front yard? How good are you at telling somebody, hey, there's going to be a play at the Holmes Theater on April 5th and 6th. You can do this. I'm asking you to help me. Not help me. Glorify God with your life by doing something out of the box. You might not be used to doing this, but hey, all you have to do is ask somebody, you ever been to a play? Would you like to go to a play? Hey, let's go to lunch together and then we'll see it together. I'll go too. Thank you very much for your time. I'm having so much fun. I want to share the excitement of this with everybody, and you happen to be today's everybody. Tell folks to watch this on, this thing airs 42 times a week. If you're watching it on a Monday, you can see it 41 more times if you want to sit there every 4 hours and watch it over again. But you can tell other people too. Thank you very much. Father, I pray for this audience right now. I thank you that you're speaking to people all over the area, not just here in Detroit Lakes, all over the place. And they're going to hear about this and they're going to say, man, I haven't been to a play in a long time. Sounds like a good deal. Let's do it. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.